여러분 안녕하세요. Hi everyone. Welcome to another day of Korean lesson. I am Chansung teacher and let's get started. 오늘은 우리가 뭘 배울지 한번 볼까요? 오늘은 새로운 문법을 배우고 읽기 연습을 하고 새로운 단어를 배울 거예요. So what will we be doing today? We'll be learning new grammar and vocabulary words and we'll also have a reading practice. Then let's get started. Let's read this together. Read it with me. 성진은 미나랑 얘기하고 있어요. 성진 and Mina are talking to each other. I'll be Mina, and then you'll be 성진. So I'll read first. Read with me. 도서관에 자주 가요? Were you able to follow along? Okay, then let's learn our vocabulary word for today. Our first word is 과학관. 과학관. This means science museum. Also take some time to write this down on your notebook so you can practice writing this word, and also make sure you write down the definition on the side. Our next word is 도서관. 도서관. This means library. 미술관. 미술관. This means gallery. Our next word is 박물관. 박물관. This means museum. Our next word is 영화관. 영화관. This means movie theater. 체육관. 체육관. This means a gym. 토요일. 토요일. This means Saturday. 일요일. 일요일. This means Sunday. 닫아요. 닫아요. This means to close. 열어요. 열어요. This means to open. 가끔. 가끔. This means sometimes. 너무. 너무. This means too, as in too much or too something. Now that we have learned our grammar, let's actually try reviewing what we learned. Make sure you write down the vocabulary from the last few slides, from the last few seconds of this video, and let's try connecting the word in the description on the left side to the location that is written on the right side. 그림과 단어를 알맞게 연결해 봅시다. Let's look at number 1. Number 1, it says, read with me. 영화를 봐요. What does this mean? This means you see the movie. Where do you go to see a movie? You would see it in 영화관, a movie theater. So let's try connecting these two. Then let's look at number 2. Can you read it for me? Follow the underline. 책을 읽어요. What does this mean? This means you read a book. Where do you go to read a book? You would go to the library. 도서관. 도서관. So let's connect these two. Then can you read number 3? Follow the underline. Very good. 그림을 봐요. Where do you go to see pictures? You would see it in a gallery. How do you say gallery in Korean? Yes, you would say it as 미술관. 미술관. So let's connect these two. Then let's look at number 4. 운동을 해요. 운동을 해요. What does this mean? This means that you exercise. Where do you go to exercise? I go to the gym to exercise. So let's find gym on the right side. Which one of these two are gym? It is the bottom one, 체육관. So let's connect these two. You will go to the gym to do exercise. And gym is 체육관. Very good. The last but not least, number 5, 옛날 물건을 봐요. You look at objects from long time ago. So how can we write that in Korean? Where do you go? You would go to the museum. And museum in Korean is 박물관. 박물관. Were you able to get all 5 correct? If so, let's move on to our grammar structure for today. Today we will be learning how to say 하지만 in a sentence. 하지만 means but or however. You should only use it when you are connecting two contrasting sentences, just like our first example. Let's try reading it together. Read with me. 저는 한국 음식을 좋아해요. 하지만 김치를 안 먹어요. We can see that the two sentences are talking about something similar. For example, food. However, although this person likes Korean food, they do not like kimchi, which is a Korean food. So this is a good example of how to use 하지만 in a sentence. Let's look at our other examples to learn more about how we can use this in a sentence. Read with me on number 2. 슬기는 수영을 잘해요. 하지만 수영장에 잘 안 가요. This means 슬기 can swim well, but she does not go often to the swimming pool. Do you see how they're both talking about swimming? This is how we use 하지만 in a sentence. The two sentences that we're talking about must have a similar topic. Let's read number 3. 이 책 재미있어요? Is this book fun? 네. 하지만 이야기가 너무 길어요. Yes, it is fun, but the story is too long. Were you able to follow along of why and how we can use 하지만 in a sentence? If so, good job. Let's go on to our next grammar section for today. Now we will be learning about 지 않다. You can use this when you want to say that something is not or someone is not doing an action. Let's look at our first example together. 저는 영화관에 가지 않아요. Here we can see that our action word is to go, which is 가다 in this sentence. But because we use 지 않아요, the sentence becomes I do not go to the movie theater instead of I go to the movie theater. Now let's look at our other examples to learn more of how we can use 지 않다 in a sentence. Read with me and follow the underline. 민수는 축구를 하지 않아요. 민수 does not play soccer. For the next example, I'll read 가 and then you could read 나. Follow the underline. 오늘 도서관 열어요? Is the library open today? No, it does not open. Are you able to understand how we can use 지 않다 in a sentence? Okay, one thing that you have to know when you're using 지 않다 in a sentence is that you can only put it on the verb, the action word of the sentence. If you were able to follow along, then let's try to challenge ourselves by answering a few questions using our new grammar structure of the day. Now that we have learned how to say not and however, let's practice using it in a sentence using the questions you see on the screen. 그림을 보고 알맞은 말을 써보세요. Let's look at question number 1. What do you see in the picture next to question number 1? Right here. I see a boy holding a dog while looking at the cat next to him with a little upset face. What do you see? Okay, now let's read question number 1 together. Read with me. 저는 강아지를 좋아해요. 뭐뭐 고양이를 싫어해요. What do you think should be in this blank? For this question, let's try using 하지만. I'll write it down right here. 하지만. And read it with me. 저는 강아지를 좋아해요. 하지만 고양이를 싫어해요. Very good. I want you to write down 하지만 in that blank space. And let's try looking at number 2. What do you see in the picture there? Can you tell me what you see in the picture? I see a girl who is shaking her head no while looking at this book right here that's given to her. So let's see what this conversation is. I'll read the boy and you can read the girl. 저는 이 책을 좋아해요. What can we write in this blank? Let's see what we can do. We can say that we don't like reading this book because he likes to read a book, but I don't think she does. So how can we write that? We have to use the action word and use 지 않아요. So what can you write? I would write it like this. 저는 이 책을 좋아하지 않아요. Do you see how we took the action word over here and then added 지 않아요 over here at the end to say that we don't like this book? Okay, then let's try working on a few more examples using 하지만 and also 지 않아요 to answer this question. Let's look at number 3. What do you see here in the picture? You can see a boy shaking his head and you can see that he's thinking about swimming. So let's look at the conversation. 수영을 자주 해요? He answers 아니요. So what is he saying? He's not doing. He is not swimming often. So how can we write that? We can write it like this. 수영을 자주 해요? 아니요. 자주 하지 않아요. Do you see how we took the action word here and then put in the dictionary form and then added 지 and then 않아요 at the end to say that we do not swim often? Okay, then let's try number 4 and number 5. I want you to take your time to pause this video and answer this on your own and press play when you are ready. Were you able to get your answers? If so, let's see if you got them correct. Let me read number 4 with you. Read with me. 저는 한국 음식을 좋아해요. And what did you put here? I put 하지만 김치를, and what did you put here? I wrote 좋아하지 않아요 because the first girl said that she likes Korean food, but she doesn't like kimchi. As you can see, in the picture of kimchi, she put an X. Okay, were you able to get this one correct? If so, give yourself a pat in the back, and if you didn't get it correct, make sure you correct your answer. And let's look at number 5. 저는 미술관을 좋아해요. I love the art gallery. But what can we write here? Do you think she likes to draw? Or do you think she's good at drawing? Well, we're going to use 하지만 and also 지 않아요 in this sentence. And you might write it many ways, but this is how I wrote it. 저는 미술관을 좋아해요. 하지만 그림을 잘 그리지 않아요. So she likes the art museum, but she's not really good at drawing. What did you write in that sentence? If so, let's move on to our next practice exercise. In this exercise, we're going to practice reading. 다음 안내문을 잘 읽고 물음에 답해 봅시다. Let's read the following announcement and answer the question. Read with me. 어린이 취미 교실, 축구 교실, 시간 토요일 오전, 장소 공원, 준비물 운동복 운동화, 노래 교실, 시간 토요일 오후, 장소 음악실, 준비물 없어요. 그림 교실, 시간 일요일 오후, 장소 미술실, 준비물 종이 연필. We're going to answer some questions based on what we just read, so pause this video and then also try reading this on your own. And when you're ready, let's start answering some questions. 무엇을 안내해요? What does this announce? What is this pamphlet announcing? Take a few seconds to answer, and then I'll show you what is the correct answer. The correct answer is number 3, 취미 교실. You can see it here on the announcement paper. Then let's look at number 2. 다음 중 틀린 것은 뭐예요? Which of the following description is incorrect? Let's look at number 1 together. Read with me. 노래 교실을 음악실에서 해요. This means that the song class will be in the music room. Let's see if the location of this class is in the music room. 시간 means location, and 장소 시간 means time, and then 장소 means location. And where is the 노래 교실 located? It is located in 음악실, so this is correct. Then let's look at number 2 to see if it's incorrect. Read with me. 그림 교실은 준비물이 없어요. There are no materials you have to prepare for art class. So let's see in 그림 교실. Let's look at 준비물. Is there anything written in 준비물? What do we have to bring? We have to bring 종이 and 연필, paper and pencil. So, number 2 is our correct answer. 그림 교실은 준비물이 없어요. 왜냐하면 준비물이 있으니까요. 종이랑 연필이 필요해요. Okay, then let's go to number 3. For this one, I want you to write down your hobby. 여러분의 취미는 뭐예요? 위에 같이 안내문을 만들어 보세요. We're going to create an announcement like the example you see onto your left. So this is how we're going to do it. I want you to grab a piece of paper and write this on the piece of paper. Whatever you see on the screen, the big box, I want you to write that down. And make an announcement paper for your hobby. Think of it as you're making an announcement paper to do with your friends. We're going to answer the questions 뭐, 시간, 장소, and 준비물, and also draw in this rectangle what your hobby is. Let me give you an example by using 그림 교실. 내 취미 안내문, you're going to write this here, and then 뭐, you're going to write 그림 그리기. To draw, my hobby is to draw. Then when will you be in this class? 언제 해요? You can say 매일 오후. Every day in the evening. Then where do you do it? Where do you do your hobby? I do it at home, so I would write 집. And then you have to write down what you need to prepare in order to do your hobby. In my case, I need paper, which is 종이, and also pencil, which is 연필. So why not do this on your own? I want you to grab that piece of paper and write down and introduce what your hobby is. Write down what it is, what time you do it or when you do it in the week, where you do your hobby or where you have to go to do your hobby, and also what you have to bring in order for you to be able to do your hobby. So if you say, oh, I like to play soccer, then you will have to say, I need my sneakers and I need a soccer ball. So take some time to pause this video and write down what your hobby is. Introduce it on the paper and also give it to your parents to show them what you like to do. And with that, that is the end of our class. Good job today. I know that it was a little bit difficult, but I know you did very well. Also, I hope that you have had a very wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next week. Bye! 다음 주에 봐요.